Meet your speakers. Ene Abuobe is a physician and epidemiologist with a passion for mental health and has well over a decade of experience in her field. Ofori Adive is an experienced entrepreneur in fashion and agro-processing. She enjoys helping people get more visibility for their business and is a successful network marketer. Paul Anari, also known as Wind Anari, has vast experience and deep understanding of investments, alternative currencies, and monetary history. With over 20 years in the industry, he has designed 3 workable hands-on systems, helps both parents and young adults in career path and career change. He is also the co-founder of the Wealthline Investment Academy. Jama Ukd Moma is a public policy lawyer, an author, and parenting and family life advocate. A mother of 4 who is also passionate about women fulfilling their God-given potential, maximizing their roles as mothers and nation builders among others. She is the founder of Learn, Let's Encourage a Reading Nation, and a member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. You can catch her on her blog at Jama Moma and www.joma.net. Adebola Adefila has been an entrepreneur for over 19 years, with 13 years spent in manufacturing. She is the COO of Bandit Rolls Nigeria, a brand visible across the country and in some West African countries. She is an associate member of Winbase and a founder of the Profiting Hub, a business know-how platform. She also speaks at events and has live classes, coaching sessions, and master classes. Adebola Adefila is also an author and founder of the Iredire ready-to-wear brand. Bolaji Agbelusi Ni Dada is a professional pilot of over 2 decades in the Nigerian aviation industry, making history as the first female pilot to command an all-female flight on April 1, 2009. She is also a training professional and the pioneer director of Caviton Aviation Training Organization. She is a social entrepreneur and founder of Zoe's Foundation, concerned with educational support and capacity building.
One. You can be perfect. All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening again. Today is the last day of the PTM annual conference, Baby Steps to Purpose. We've been on this journey for this is the 4th day. So we've just said 3 days already. On the first day, we had parents, coaches coming here to tell us how we can connect with our children and how we can make sure that some vices, how we can make sure that things like drugs and sexual habits do not stop or stifle our children's purpose. All right, so how we can make sure that those things do not come in and stifle their purpose. All right, so on the second day, we had educators. We had passionate educators coming here to tell us how we can form that relationship between the home, the school, and the child. So it's a triangular relationship because both the school and the home were both concerned about the children and the wholesomeness of the children. So we talked about this with the educators, and on the third day was the real deal. We had young children who are already pursuing their purpose, young children who are not afraid to dare to take baby steps towards this purpose. And today, the 4th and final day, we have experts, people who have dared to take baby steps towards purpose, and then people who have dared to take baby steps towards purpose, and then people who are supporting other people to reach their purpose, and then people who are living their purpose as it is. So that's the size of today's lineup of speakers that we have today. So for this session, we have Adebola Adefila, and Bola is going to be talking to us today about how you can uphold a legacy. All right, I don't know, I see Just a minute. So, Bola is going to be talking to us about how we can uphold a legacy. So, a lot of times as parents, you will hear parents say, I mean, in conversations, you hear parents say things like that, like, I can't allow my children go through what I have gone through. And then, of course, you will not hear the other angle. You will hear people say things like, of course, I mean, it's scriptural that we should leave inheritance, okay? We should leave inheritance for our children and all of that. So, of course, we want to do that. Now, you will not see, see some people who are like from who are privileged, right? In quotes, who are privileged, right? And then we find that there's a trend amongst people who are privileged. Their children tend to like relax, right? Their children tend to relax, and they have everyone, they have people all around them taking care of all their needs. They have the cook, they have the nannies, they have drivers, they have all of these people. And in many cases we find out that this group of people do not think that their children need to labor. In some cases, right, in a lot of cases, do not think that their children need to labor or they need to learn skills beyond what happens in school. So what happens is we send them to what is termed the best schools, right? The best schools, and there are a lot of other things that we don't even bother looking at because of this. I don't want my children to suffer the way I suffer. So I suffered. So we're going to be talking to Bola today, okay, about that mindset. We want to talk about that mindset, okay, and talk about, how she's the progress that she's made in her own life, right? And see if that will resonate with some of us. All right, so I'm going to bring Bola on the screen. I don't know, she seems frozen. I hope she's she's here, right? So I'll just put her on screen and see how that goes. Okay,
I'm
there's a bit
here.
of network
Hi.
issue there. All right, please, if you are with us while we wait for our guests, if you're here, please let me know you're here. Let me know you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. Let us know your name. Give StreamYard access to show us who is sending in a message if you are sending in a message. All right, so let's just see if our guest is having trouble and if we can get her back in here in a few minutes. So we'll just take a message again and see how that goes.
So I'm
Okay,
here. I
one
can hear
second.
you.
We'll be right
Meet your
back.
speakers. Ene Abuobe is a physician and epidemiologist with a passion for mental health and has well over a decade of experience in her field. Ofori Adive is an experienced entrepreneur in fashion and agro-processing. She enjoys helping people get more visibility for their business and is a successful network marketer. Paul Anari, also known as Wind Anari, has vast experience and deep understanding of investments, alternative currencies, and monetary history. With over 20 years in the industry, he has designed 3 workable hands-on systems, helped both parents and young adults in career path and career change. He is also the co-founder of the Wealth Line Investment Academy. Jama Ukd Moma is a public policy lawyer, an author, and parenting and family life advocate. A mother of 4 who is also passionate about women fulfilling their God-given potential, maximizing their roles as mothers and nation builders, among others. She is the founder of Learn, Let's Encourage a Reading Nation, and a member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. You can catch her on her blog at Jama Moma and www.joma.net. Adebola Adefila has been an entrepreneur for over 19 years, with 13 years spent in manufacturing. She is the COO of Bandit Rolls Nigeria, a brand visible across the country and in some West African countries. She is an associate member of Winbase and a founder of the Profiting Hub, a business know-how platform. She also speaks at events and has live classes, coaching sessions, and masterclasses. Adebola Adefila is also an author and founder of the Iredire ready-to-wear brand. Bolaji Agbelusi Ni Dada is a professional pilot of over 2 decades in the Nigerian aviation industry, making history as the first female pilot to command an all-female flight on April 1, 2009. She's also a training professional and the pioneer director of Caverton Aviation Training Organization. She's a social entrepreneur and founder of Zoe's Foundation, concerned with educational support and capacity building.
All right, so we're back again. Okay, so I'm sorry we had to do some back office work today. All right, so if you are watching this broadcast, please let us know you are here. Send in a comment. It's always nice when we are interacting, right? It's always nice when we're interacting. And please bring your questions. Our guests want to answer questions. See, these people we brought to you here for this conference are not people that you find every day. These are people that you pay money to have them do a session with you. And I'm not kidding you. These are not people that you pay 2 naira. They are people that we pay. So if we're able to get them here free, for free, just because they want to impact, and they want to, add their or lend their voice. All right, they want to lend their voice to the whole parenting campaign, intentional parenting campaign. Then we should appreciate them and bring our questions and let them help with whatever expertise they have or whatever area, they have expertise in. All right, so I said our guest today is Bola Adefila, and Bola is going to be talking to us today about upholding a legacy, right? We have seen cases of children who come from advantaged families, right? They come from advantaged families, as I said earlier on, and it is assumed that there isn't a need to do too much, right? After all, scripture says you should store up inheritance for for your children and the next generation and all of that. So if I have stored up inheritance for the next generation, or if my parents have stored up inheritance for me and all of that, why struggle? My own is to chill, cross my leg now and chop, 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 chop. And then we now forget that just the way your parents left, inheritance for you, you were supposed to leave inheritance for somebody. So are we thinking that way? Are we teaching our children this way? Do our children know these things? And it's not enough to say that I am doing so much for my children after I'm sending them to good schools, right? I'm sending them to good schools and all of that. Let's hear today, is that all we need to do, right? To help our children understand why they need to uphold a legacy. What's a legacy anyway? All right, I'm bringing Bola right on screen right now. So please make some noise for my guests. Make some noise, welcome our guest, and let her know she's welcome at the PTM. All right. Hello, Bola. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. How are you? Good evening. Thanks for having me here.
We are excited to have you here because we know it's not every time. You're a very, very busy woman. Yes, I dare say that. You're a very busy woman and you have a lot of things. I mean, even if you're not busy, the home front alone is enough is enough to get busy with. But apart from that, you are the COO of Banroot Rose. You have other things. I mean, you do public speaking, you have engagements and all of that. Sometimes I look at them like, how do you do all of this? I'm sure there's something that you're going to be sharing with us today. All right, so welcome very much. We're excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Good evening again.
All right then. So I was just doing a little preamble before you came in, and I ended by saying, "What's a legacy anyway?" So we're talking about legacies and all of that. So maybe we should start by understanding what a legacy is in the first place. All right.
So if we say legacy, what's a legacy in the real sense? A legacy is something that has come in from generation to generation, be it business, be it values, be it ministry, whatever you call it. A legacy is something that you can look back and say, oh, it's been there for the past 5 generations in this family, or it's been there for the past 5-10 years, for the past 5-10 generations, 10 decades and whatever in this family. And a legacy is something, it's not, I usually say this, that a legacy is not something that you do overnight. It's a journey. So it's something that you have to be intentional about, either from the first generation or the second generation, whoever is going to pass on to the next generation. But there have to be some form of intentionality So you have to be intentional about it. It has to be that, okay, who is going to carry on this? Who is going to carry on that? How are we going to go about it? And at times, it might not necessarily mean that it has to be the children of the
Mm.
parents that will carry on the legacy. Because again, we're in a world where God has blessed all of us with different gifts, with different capacity. So you could have, nowadays we're having families who just have two children. Gone are those days, our parents will have four, five, six. So even if three will not follow you, one will shall follow the family. You know how it is. But these days when we
Yeah.
have only two children, we have maximum you're seeing even three. So and there's a tendency for you to have children who are just not interested in whatever
Right.
it is that you want to pass on. So is the legacy supposed to just die because the children are not interested? No, it doesn't have to die that way. So legacy doesn't necessarily have to be from your children. It could be that you're running a business or you have a ministry and you've been able to groom people who kind of now have a stake in the business, in the ministry, or whatever it is that you want to hand over, such that if your children are not interested, you have some crop of people who can carry on the legacy, for your name, the name of whatever it is that you have built. You have people that who are able to now carry it on, and you find this abroad, especially with Americans or with the British, where you find that, yes, maybe it started by your family, but you realize staff came into it. You have employees who are now carrying over the legacy of the family, not necessarily the children of the family. So that's what I think legacy is about.
Wow, wow, wow. That's an angle. I mean, that's an angle completely that a lot of us don't even look at. The fact that it doesn't necessarily have to be your children who carry this legacy. It's as if it's a family thing, that it has to be, oh dear. Okay, so I just had a power cut.
Our people have done it again. We're in
Oh
Africa.
my goodness! Oh my goodness!
The
Just
Niger
1 minute, please.
factor.
Come on. Let me see if I can power myself up for. Okay, let me give myself some power before they turn on the another supply. Sorry about that. Sorry, everyone. You know now, I see in Nigeria. All right. All right then. Okay, so as I said, it's an angle that we don't look at a lot of the times and all of that. So in this session, we're going to be talking to two different mindsets now. We're going to be talking to the parents with the mindset that my child needs to carry my legacy, right? What would you do? And we'll be looking at those groups that have come to that realization or to that awareness that it doesn't necessarily have to do with your it doesn't have to be your children and all that. All right, so you're here in in the capacity that you are carrying your family legacy, or you've been born into a family that has a legacy to carry. I mean, we all have one legacy or the other in families, but for some families it's not rooted, or it's not a value, or it's not something that they're trying to, it's not something that they're looking at strongly, or it's not something that is profound or it's glaring, right? But for some families, it's obvious. I mean, it's glaring that, okay, there's a legacy here and it has to be carried. So you are the COO of a company that your parents started, right? So you're the CEO of the company. So is it like you always knew? Wow. Okay, so is it like you always knew that, that you would fall into that you would have to carry this legacy? Is it like you were compelled to, or is it like it's something that you watched them and then they became like mentors to you, and you realized, something, this is it for me, right? So just in case we have parents, who have this same situation in their homes. All right.
In my case, I'll share my story. My case was it was a case of, I will call it maybe accidental on my part, but intentional on my mom's part, my parents' part. So back in the day, when I was young, very very much younger, my mom has always been a businesswoman, and my dad was a civil servant. So my mom did all sorts of business. There was a time when she was the first distributor of Coca-Cola in Abuja. The very first distributor Coca-Cola had in Abuja. She had done distributorship for Cadbury, Lever Brothers. She had owned a boutique. She's owned a tailoring outfit. She's owned a gifts store. But
Yeah.
all along, while she was having all of this, I was being carried on unconsciously. So while I was very young, I'll follow her to the store. So she's had a supermarket as well before. So in the 80s, early on in the 80s, of course, I was born in the 80s. I was born in 1980. And while I was growing up, I'll follow her to the store. And I think unconsciously, I picked an interest. I'll call it unconsciously. And way back after I got into the university, she had a boutique when I was in the university. And anytime I'm on holiday, she says she sells more when I'm on holiday than when I'm in school. So, because I always had, because I've always loved fashion, so I always had this thing about how to convince people to buy this and buy that. When she goes shopping for her clothes, because she's conservative, so when she goes shopping for her boutique, I go like, no, you don't have to buy all this conservative kind of clothing. You're the kind of customers you want. They don't wear clothes the way you wear your own clothes. And all the business she did while growing up, I was always in it unconsciously, just like follow me to the supermarket, follow me to the store. Oh, we're doing this at the shop today. And I follow her and I'm just there, bored. First of all, it's not interesting. It wasn't interesting. I was very bored. Another thing she did to torment us, I mean, myself and my siblings, I'm the first of 4 children. Another thing I would say she did to torment us was when I was in school, so whenever I go for summer holiday, my dad would give us our shopping money. Everybody, okay, this is your shopping money for summer holiday, and we go and shop for our summer holiday. But again, summer holiday was like business trip for mommy. So mommy is the one that carries us. So dad is a civil servant and he doesn't live anywhere. He doesn't does if he's going to travel, he wants to travel by himself. If you guys are going to travel, you guys are going on holiday, go with your mother. So summer holiday was torment. Instead of us going to the parks, to the pool, and to the beach, we follow her to villages in the UK, going where she's going to negotiate how she's going to buy one dinner set or one container load of this. And you can imagine kids of 18, 16, 15, 14, and we're just looking like this woman eating workers in front of her co-negotiator and Coke. That's the only thing they're giving us in their shop. And they're busy. She's busy doing her negotiations and carrying on her business. That is your summer holiday. So I realized, summer holiday is not always the way our own summer holiday experience was. Remember what my friends were experiencing. They would go like they're going to the parks and all of that. Maybe at the end of the day, you spend 2 weeks following her all around. Before you come back to Nigeria, you're now doing 1 day or 2 days of going to the park or going to shop, go and buy the clothes you need. And that's it. That was summer holiday for us. So summer holiday was always business trip for mommy. So she always mixed our trips, together. But again, there was an unconscious seed that I would say was kept dropping inside of me. I was call it unconscious because I didn't think through it. And when I was in the uni, I just realized the flair for fashion. I felt, okay, you know what? Daddy always gives me my shopping money for summer holidays. Why don't I just, while this woman is busy doing her shopping, let me buy some clothes and go and sell on campus. And that was my first, that was how I started business. And I enjoyed it. I didn't need the money, but I enjoyed the fact that, I come back to school and everybody wants to come and buy clothes from Bola. And another advantage I took was the fact that resuming school as a Jambite, I was nominated as one of the best dressed Jambites. So I took the opportunity to go like, okay, best dressed Jambites, that's the person that should be selling clothes to you people now. So everyone comes to my room to buy clothes. Anyway. Yes, and if you want to wear clothes, so come and buy. Since the best dressed Jambite is now selling clothes to you. And, that was how it started. And I left school. I'd saved a lot of money after school, but money that you do not need. So it was even fantastic for me that I was doing business when I didn't think, when I didn't need the money. So leaving school, I went for my master's, came back. I had a stint in public sector. And it wasn't just me. I just knew that no, this is not what I want to do. I mean, but everyone, the office wanted me around, but I was restless. I mean, serving as a copper, I remember lying in the office and telling them, oh, I'm not feeling fine. Meanwhile, I'd run to Italy for 3 days, bought shoes and bags, came back after 3 days, to sell, to staff and all of that in the ministry where I was working. So I just knew that business was what I wanted to do. I didn't mind if my mom wasn't going to pay me enough. I just felt this was it for me. This was what I wanted to do. My siblings decided, no, business is not their thing. And that's why I said there are times when the kids might not necessarily follow suit with what you want them to do, but you can find a way, to kind of maneuver them into knowing that this is the legacy you're leaving. And that was how I got into the business and, starting off with the family. And I was just, I just enjoyed it. It was just me. It felt like there was nothing else I could do other than what it is I'm doing right now. If you look at it, Mary Beth, if you look at some families, you go to some families, you see 5 lawyers, 4 lawyers, you see that the
Mm-hmm.
parents were lawyers, because that's what the children have always saying. You look at some people now. I know that there's a tendency for people to say, oh, pastors, why is it that their kids must do pastoring? Why is it that their kids must run the church? That is what they have seen their parents do all their life. So the kids go to, they come back. This is what they've always known, and that's what they want to do. Even politicians. So you see some people, and you see, we condemn this and we say, oh, why is it that the father was a governor, now the son is a house of rep? That is what he has always known right from when he was small. That is what he has always, that was what he was surrounded by. His father having meetings till late, doing negotiation. So he grew up being a politician himself without even jumping into the arena. So he had
Yeah.
some of the values already. He picked it and learned it. So whatever you now make of it is going to be an intentional training from the parents. So by the time the parents know that, oh, this child is speaking this interest, it now beholds on the parent to push the child more. So the moment my mom realized that Paula loves business, she loves to just trade, I think we need to give her more encouragement. So I knew that this was it for me. I studied business admin in school. I knew I was going to go and do my MBA. So it was something that was clear cut. And I still go back to say there's that unconscious mentoring from the parents,
Yes.
unconscious
Yes.
seeds that are being dropped into you to say, this is it, this is what we do. And one thing for the parents that might be here on the show listening, one thing that I see that happens a lot of time that kids decide not to get interested in whatever it is that you want to leave for them is because most of the time we come back not telling them about the good side of whatever it is that you want to leave. It's an African thing where the parents don't want you to know, they don't want you to feel like, oh, your father has money. Parents don't want us to feel like, don't think there's money here. So you find out that you're coming back every day and telling the child, this business is horrible. I made a loss today. This person did wrong today. The country so is affecting business today. There's no way the child's going to grow up interested.
Interesting.
So I'm not saying tell the child every time that there's cash here. No, let the child know the good side and the bad side. Let the child see you handle the bad days, and also let the child see you handle the good days. Speak about the pros and cons of whatever it is that you're running. Speak about the good, bad, and ugly of that business. Don't just stick to the bad part because you want to dissuade the child from being too interested in money. No, that will not work. It's you saying, you know what, when business is good, this is it. When business is bad, this is how it is.
This is it.
So the child makes his own informed decision based on from a place of information. Like, you know what, this is what I can see my parents are doing. This is what I can do better. How can I ensure that this roadblock that mommy or daddy is having, how can I ensure that we don't have it when I take it on? So, that kind of makes it easy for the child to know, okay, am I going to go this way, or I'm just going to stick to my 9 to 5 or stick to different things that I want to do other than what the parents are doing. That's a short bit about my story about how I got into.
Wow. Very interesting. And I mean, just as you said, very true. It happens even with entertainers. It happens with entertainers. It happens with footballers and all of that. You find that that your children end up like doing the same
Mhm.
thing. And in fact, you finish when you're talking. What came to my mind was mentoring, unconscious mentoring, and that's what it is. You just mentor unconsciously, and the child just takes it. A speaker yesterday, I think it was Akugo day before yesterday, she actually said that growing up, it's not like her mother ever came and said, let's sit down, we're going to have a lesson on hard work. hard work is what you have to do like this and do like that or whatever, that her mother lived it. So her
She
mother
lived hard work.
lived that value. So she could see that value. So it became like an unspoken value in the home. Like there are no options. The option here,
Mhm,
I mean, the only
mhm,
thing you
mhm,
know is hard work, right? I think I was reading an
mhm.
article once. I was reading an article once and it was talking about Mark Zuckerberg and his wife. What's her name again? Mark and his wife, they actually make deliberate efforts to take their children to work or bring work home to the kids just
Yeah,
because they want
yeah.
the children to see them at work and to see what it is that they do and what they put into their work so that the children know that it's not like it's not a walk in
Mhm,
the park and all of that.
mhm,
So
mhm.
you said something that was profound, like some parents will not want to let the children know, the when business is good, when business is bad, and so they portray only the ugly side of it and all of that. Could it be? Could it be their own way of trying to ward off entitlement? Could it be that they're trying to ensure that their children do not become entitled? I know that in Africa we're extreme about everything that we do. So because you because you walked the streets, can you share with us what you think your parents did to ward off entitlement, or what do you think were the things that helped you not to get entitled, while growing up?
So I think so you have a point there. Maybe they don't want the kids to get entitled. But again, I think what I will say is you can still talk about the good, bad, and ugly without the child having an entitlement. So first off, working with the company, we do things properly. I earn a salary. So you earn what you work for. And for me, I started from the bottom up. So it wasn't like, oh, Beirut is here, coming as COO. I started as a marketer. When my mom had the gift store, I was always at the gift store. So I was always at the home store and I was attending to people like the normal staff will attend to people. I remember a funny situation where a lady comes in and because I wanted her to be so satisfied, I was following her around to just say, okay, do you want this? Or is this what you want? And she just said, this one that you're following me around an inspector. So she didn't know who I was. And she was like, this one that you're following me around like a police person. Please, this is I just went, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, maybe you're not comfortable with it. Let us know what you want later if you're having difficulties. And I went downstairs because the store was a duplex, was a upstairs and
I remember
downstairs.
the stuff.
And remember the store. So she came downstairs and she was like, I sent the other sales staff to attend to her. So I left her. I sent the other sales staff to attend to her. And while they were attending to her, she wanted a discount. And she said, please, you guys should go and look for your madam. Where's your madam to give me discount? And they said, oh, that's our madam. The woman came and she was so shocked. She was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I said, "No, that's okay, no problem." It's as in, she felt like, "Gosh, so he's even the owner of the store that I was talking to that she's following me around." So the thing is that I think not ensuring that your kids don't have an entitlement mentality is first of all teach them hard work, teach them diligence, teach them, and for me, right from the get go, teach them to grow from the bottom up. I didn't come in as the MD. I didn't come in as CEO. I started from the bottom. When we're going to start the factory, I was a marketer, going from one store to the other, trying to market our products, trying to ensure that I get either the purchasing manager or the owner of this company to collect our products. I went from market to market, looking for distributors, like you will send your marketer to go and look for distributors.
Mhm.
You get. So I did the job. I did the dirty work. So now when people say, oh, COO of the company, we've been the company is more than 2 decades, right? And I've been in the manufacturing arm for over 13 years. So 13 years of doing marketing, doing admin officer, doing the general manager, doing the operations manager before
Wow.
getting to COO. So So it was, there were times when we employ people that knew more than I know. We employed people that were older than I, and we paid them higher than what I was earning because they were
Wow.
coming with experience. I knew they were not going to be with us forever because you know how it is. Nobody's going to be with you forever. I knew they were not going to be with us forever, but I needed to do that. We needed to also do that as a family because I was going to be learning under this person. You know,
Oh,
what
yeah.
happens is that at times when you're even trying to hand over your business to your child, and the workers that know more than the child, they know more than the child. So you
Yeah.
don't want a situation where you set that child up for failure when you kind of have this nepotism thing in
Hmm.
play. Let that person that has been a chief marketer or something for how many years in another company, let that person come in, earn more than the child if need be. Let the child is going to learn from that person, and they'll be able to be open to that child to show the child the ropes while you're
Mm-hmm.
learning. Also, of course, this person doesn't own the company, you own the company, your child owns the company. So at the end
So
of the
there's no
day,
person.
you know, so that they don't even mess you up at the end of the day. So you learn everything you want to learn. When a person starts to mess up, it's easier for you to do away with the stuff and let your child fall in. So I think ensuring that I grew from bottom up, allow that entitlement mentality to even leave automatically. You know, like knowing that this is my level right now. And at the time when I was a marketer, we had an operation manager, we had a general manager that I would send my report to. Even though I'll still go back home and have discussion with my parents, who were the chairman and ED, but it didn't stop
Hmm.
us from doing things properly, you know, in the company. So we wanted
Yeah.
to do things by the book. You know, wanted a situation where if investors come tomorrow, they will see that this place, they actually do things properly. And you
Hmm.
know, I think that helped me taking out that entitlement mentality. It also helped me to know that, you know what, yes, this is my family business, but I can also build another thing side. So when people say, oh, Bola, you're running family business, but you're still having your own side hustle. You have this business, you have your radio, you have this. What are you looking for really? But it's just me. I love to just do other stuff. I love to do business. So I just felt like, okay, you know what? Barroot is stable. Let me build something else that I also can say. My kids can say this one was from mommy, not from grandpa. So everybody knows, okay, grandpa and grandma started this one, but let us know that this is the one that our mom also started. And you know, and I think that's just it for me.
Wow, Bola, there's a lot of knowledge in what you have said. There's a lot of wisdom in what you have said. You know, because what we see, it's an African thing. What we see is there's this, whatever pride we want to call it, there's this thing that you constantly want to shove it or want to put it in people's face that I am the boss, I am the child of the boss. You know, so there's that thing that even our parents unconsciously they do. So you come to the company and you make it like this is Oga speaking, and so because of that everybody is supposed to report to this person
Bow
or
and tremble.
reverence this person in some manner. I'm saying this now because we probably have parents who are here or parents who will be catching this replay later that have businesses and are probably operating it in this way, and they're not paying attention to the fact that your child needs to learn. Okay, your child
Mm-hmm.
needs to learn, and your child will have to learn from somebody. And even if they have to learn from you, the parent, you can't be an accountant, be a procurement
Can't be
officer,
everything.
be the chief, whatever. So you can't know it all. So they would have to learn from somebody, and that person has to be a person that is willing, that derives pride in teaching your child. So if you bring the person and the person has to be bowing down to the person that he's teaching, he's going to hold that knowledge. I will not
Exactly.
give everything.
Exactly.
So there
Exactly.
has to be the knowledge that something. We respect you. We respect you. You have your free hand. This person is learning under you. I think Jimovia. I heard Jimovia did the same thing back in the day when I was in Zenny Bank. I heard there was a time the daughter came in and she had to start as a customer service officer level one, like right under there and all of that. So I think it's a lot of wisdom and. Funny enough, it's the people that are really high there that think about it. It's those of us with small businesses even were the ones that we
Yeah, but even with your, so you know, the thing is, even with your small business, so
yeah.
um Irejire is there now. It's going to be like 2 years in June. but I'm still learning. It's manufacturing, it's clothing and all of that, but I'm still learning. So I'm not going to come to the scene and say, oh, because I'm a manufacturer, I know what to do, blah, 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 blah. I don't sew, right? But I'm running a fashion business. So if you're going to be dealing with maybe tailors and you're telling them there's a way you have to pamper people, because number one, the success of your business is paramount to you. And the success of whatever it is that you're building is paramount to you. How you get to that success is what you should be concerned about, not
Exactly.
about who is boss or not the boss. Forget that one. You can put all those ones in the box. That one doesn't even really matter. The account will say who the boss is. That one is the one that matters. But for the account to say who the boss is, you need to get things to be done properly. And people need their ego to be massaged. People that
Massage.
you're going to work, they need their ego to be massaged. They need to feel like this person does not only care about their business, they also care about the people in the business. Let them feel like, you know what, this is not a place where they throw us out after 5 years because their child has finished the master's she has gone to do, or she has come back from Obodoibo, and she's now the one that knows everything. School after school has its the degree or certificate has its own bit, but experience, you cannot joke with experience. Experience and certificates is not the same thing. So you
It's
come
not.
in with the certificate, with the knowledge, which is good with the theory. You come back with the theory, but practical is different. You find out that, it took me running the business to realize that whatever we're taught in school. I read business admin. I did MBA. My MBA was, I think I did my MBA almost 16 or 17 years ago. But it took me coming into the manufacturing and running the manufacturing part of the business to realize that what they teach us in school is totally different from what you find practically, especially in Nigeria. Especially in Nigeria. So you enter Okari
It's
market,
our
you enter
popularity.
Ose, no, you enter Ose market, you enter Okari market, and you're speaking all the English, and the distributor is looking at you like, when you finish, let me know the cocoa of what you want to come and talk. So you need to come in from a place of learning for you to actually really succeed at what you want to do. Come from a place of learning. Everybody, no, there's nobody that I cannot learn from, be it my driver, be it the cleaner, be it the market woman. There's nobody I cannot learn from. And when you come in from, and it's not about having false humility. No, it has nothing to do with you trading who you are. No, it has nothing to do with you um, pretending to be who you are not. No, but it's about coming from a place of learning because you want to get to a place, you have a goal in mind. And I think I picked this from my mom. She can learn from any idiot, anybody, as long as you have what she wants. She will follow you until she gets what
Becomes your
she
students.
wants. Because no, just succeed, and I think that's one thing that parents, adults, and we all just need to pass on to our children. They should never in any way look at themselves like being highly placed than any other person. Things change, life happens, anything can happen. The child of the maid that was in your house today could be the one that will help your own child tomorrow. It's just, and that's just life. We've seen it happen a couple of times. I've seen all sorts in this my short life. So and it's scary when you don't put some things into perspective and you just act just as if it's going to be like this forever. Nobody has guarantee. There are no guarantees in life. The only
Yeah.
guarantee you have is in God. There are no guarantees. So just doing the things properly and just make sure that just do the needful. Just do the needful.
Yeah. Someone once said that if you have to say to someone, "I am the boss," it's because you are in doubt of the fact that you are the
Yeah,
boss. So it's pretty simple. So if you're learning from your driver, you're just saying, "I need to learn." The driver knows that you're madam. You're just acknowledging the fact
already.
that you have knowledge here that I need to learn. And these people are willing to teach us and to teach our children where there is that place of humility in our relationship. Nobody is
Mm,
fighting with you for your space, as in nobody is viewing your accounts with you at the end of
at
the
all.
day. So last, you are who you are. The seat where you
Yes.
sit is your own. So there is really there's really nothing to tussle about. So recently I wrote a book. Okay, I wrote a book, The Mentor Parents: How to support your child to find purpose. Right now, in that book is a lot of stories. It's a lot of stories of how I have supported my children, especially my son in his first decade and all of that. Now I put it in stories, like, so I didn't come out to say how to teach diligence, and then I go, diligence is at the hand, like definition of diligence. Okay, hard work. Hard work is when you and all of that. So I am sure that you have had to learn, right? You've had to learn, through the things that you saw around you, mommy do. In fact, you've mentioned a lot of things that you learned from your mom and all of that. Now, because we're dealing with parents, right? So I want you to share with us some of the like core skills or values that you learned that has helped you in carrying this legacy. Whether they are taught, I'm sure your mom somewhere at the back of her mind, she has said to herself, I need to teach Bola to be hardworking. And so she did not carry a whiteboard. She shall lived it. So can you tell us some of those core ones so that as parents along the way, they would look for how to incorporate them in their parenting. If you're going to have a child who's going to carry your legacy, what are the things that your child needs to learn so you're sure that that can be the reason why your child stays grounded or focused?
So I'll say, if you're going to pass on legacy to a child, the child needs to learn that it's not a gift, it's a journey, and he has to walk it. He or she must walk it. My mom taught me diligence. She taught me hard work. She taught me not to. I think one thing that stood out for me, taught me not giving up, not to give up. And she taught me something about never allowing anyone to, don't put anyone in a position that makes you feel like without them you can't move. Nobody on this earth, nobody on this earth must be put in a position that makes you think that you cannot move without them. So this thing about not giving up, my mom is someone that, you know what, she'll continue hitting that rock until water comes out. She will continue hitting that rock. She will tell you that there's no. If you tell her, no, mommy, it's not done this way, she'll say, have you? No, I don't want to hear that it's not done that way. Have you tried it? Who told you it's not done that way? So I'll share our story. So when we're going to start the factory, we bought the machines. We had the land where we're going to build the factory. So by the time we're paid for the machine, we're ready for the machines to start coming from China. And we now had issues with the land. We're now ready to build the factory. We now had issues with the land. They said it was double allocation. So we had a tussle on the land, meaning we didn't have a factory. And here we are, the company in China is ready to ship the factory. We're ready to ship the machines. So where do you keep it? And it was like roadblock. It was like a challenging as in the 3 weeks, 1 month of roadblock, like, where do we go from here? We don't have any land. What do we do? And my mom just went, let's go and write to the minister. At the time, it was El Rufai, and we all know that he's very strict and the way he is. And she just went, let's write to the minister now and say, we want to do factory. And they collected our land. They said our land is double allocation. The two of us that own the land have the same paper from the ministry and all of that. I know the way she said it, and that's another. She taught me confidence. The way she said it, I first of all asked her, "Come, is this Erufai? Is it that you know him somewhere that we don't know? Is he your friend?" Understand? And she was like, "You know what? This thing, we must move. So we don't have any other choice. We need to just write and say, this is it." And at that time, of course, Obasanjo was trying to encourage a lot of manufacturing. And my mom was like, let's take advantage of this and just write and push that we need a land. And we went and we wrote to the minister. Of course, you know how Niger things work. It's not like we wrote to the minister. I won't come here and lie to you that we wrote to the minister and went to sleep. We kept following up that file. We kept rubbing palms. Oh, please, have you submitted our file today? You know how it is now, the way things work. Oh, one admin officer is there telling you, madam, the minister will check it tomorrow. So you know that you have to dash that person. You have to dash that person 5K or 10K. Please carry that file. You know how it was. And it was a time of praying and fasting and praying that this thing just scales through. And one day we were called up and said, okay, you know what? There's an accelerated land. Are you guys ready? We want to give it to only people that are ready to build ASAP. We're like, we'll be ready since last week
Since
to
yesterday.
start building. Like since yesterday, we'll be ready. And that was how it happened. We got the land directly from the government. So we only had to pay for
Wow.
COO. So
Wow.
we lost a 2,500 square meter. We lost a 2,500 square meter land to get a 2 hectare land.
Wow.
You get so
Wow.
it without and we didn't it's not like we don't know the minister. That's truth. We don't know the minister. We just took it the way my mom said, like, let us write, let us apply. This is the problem we have. This thing must move. And I think at times when you have that kind of resilience and when you have that kind of spirit and that boldness and that confidence and you go for what you want, somehow, it's not always going to be easy.
Yeah.
Somehow, things will just part way. Things will just work. There are times when even running the business, we faced a lot of, roadblocks. And where you just get to the point where you're like, I have no other thing to do other than the fact that to have faith and keep praying that this thing moves and keep believing that it must move and keep working towards how it's going to move, asking question, who is the next person that we need to see? So it's not like you just go, by the time you go up to your room, cry, to cry, it's go okay to worry. Then after you do that few minutes, dust it up and what's the next solution? So my mom also taught me not to sit down and wallow in that worrying and sitting down that this thing is not working, it's not working. You need to get up and tell yourself it is working for some people. What are they doing? It
Yeah.
is some people are making it out of it. So what are they doing? So that resilient spirit, that confidence, that boldness, that tenacity to quickly just think through, okay, yeah, this is the problem. What is the solution? Let me know wallow
Solution.
in it. So I think
Yeah.
having that mindset, having that spirit also worked for me because you need it, not even in this part of the world. We need it as being in
Yeah.
Nigeria alone is you need that tenacity, you need that resilient spirit, you need that mindset to actually run successful business in this part of the world. So I'll
Yeah.
say that's what, so let us build confidence in our children. Let us
Yeah.
build that I can do spirit and that not giving up spirit in our children. Because you find out that most of the time the Ajabo kids feel, oh, if it's not working now, let me just leave it. Something else will come
Mm.
up. But you find out that those kids that come from the really, really low graded areas, they're the ones that see the opportunity and they hold on to it until they can tear it apart,
Because
until
they
they
know
can
what it
shred
means
every
not to
bit
have
of that
it.
opportunity because they know what it
Because they
means
know
to
what it
say,
means
you know
not to
what, this
have
is the
it.
only opportunity I have. Yes, because they know what it is not to have it. But again, I've also found that kids from also privileged backgrounds that their parents are intentional also have that spirit. It will
Yeah.
shock you that kids from privileged background
Know what they
that have been
do.
taught that thing intentionally, they also have that
Yeah.
spirit because when they're talking, when you're discussing with them, their mindset is also, I can get this. In fact, when they are discussing something, they're wondering, how are you dreaming this far? They put it inside of them that nothing can be too much for
Yeah.
you not to be able to achieve. So I think having life is not fair. Like my kids will say, you know how when kids are fighting and they're like, "Mommy, it's not fair." The first thing I answer is, "Life is not fair.
Life isn't.
It's not fair." So the fact that I gave your sister this today is just because life is not fair. I might not give it to you. I just want you to know that life is not fair. And when you go out there, they're not going to hand you over. They won't just hand it over to you. You have to demand
Simply
for it.
because.
You have to ask for it. Simply because you're beautiful or because you have the brain, they won't just give it to you. You need to also show that you really, really need it. So I think building that spirit also in the children helps them go a long way in life.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you said it all, and the Ajabo child really doesn't even have a reason not to push. Do you understand? Because we're looking at. I mean, this session is for parents who find themselves in this position, right? So let's say it's as it is. They don't have a reason not to push because you're the one that understands what it means to. I mean, you have a lifestyle. You're the one that understands lifestyle and the fact that life, you have to keep up with that lifestyle, or
You
this
have to
is
keep up
what
with
it means to
that.
be on this side. Do you understand? And then you're the one with all the
Mhm.
opportunity. So I think the issue is parents taking their time, being intentional to grind these skills or these values into the children. So I don't think it just comes from the fact that, oh, I'm a Jeba, I don't need to do anything. It's simply because, okay, you're probably this and no one has taught you that, taught you skills that will help you, stay focused. So yes, I've seen a lot of people
Yeah.
from privileged families that you can't even come and be wasting their things anyhow like that, because there's that
At all.
general thought that if you have, then you should do with it as you like.
Yeah.
No, you find
Yeah.
that they're the ones that are like very, what's the word? They're meticulous,
Organized.
they're
Organized.
frugal, whatever. They're the ones
Yes,
that are
they're very
all that. And
frugal.
that's what it should be. So when I see parents who want to throw things around or want to make it seem like you can throw things around simply because we have a lot, I say to them, now this is not the impression we want to
Wages.
give these children. Yes, this is
Mhm,
not the impression.
mhm.
So, Bala, before
And
we go,
sorry,
yes,
another thing I will try to, I think I will say that works for me is also not making the child too comfortable.
yeah,
So I was working with the family. I started working with the family, but my earning wasn't comfortable. My salary wasn't comfortable for me. So it wasn't like you're throwing me millions. So I had the feeling like, I want to add up to whatever it is I'm making from this place. Just the way everybody would do it their 9 to 5. Just the way some
yeah,
bankers would feel like, no, I still need to do another business. So not making the child comfortable, not too comfortable. The child will get, that it's your child. When that child is hard, when things are hard, you'll be able to save the child from it. But making that child not comfortable is also good. For my girls, but used to do is that I used to take them to the factory also, work in the factory and earn. So during the holiday, if we're
earn
not
some
traveling,
money.
I say, okay, we're going to the factory and you're having a summer holiday work, you have your vacation. So they come into the factory, they thumbprint like every other staff is thumbprinting into the factory. They're going to sign up with the operation manager and, oh, I came in today. They're either working on the box tissue today or they're working on the toilet roll section. And at the end of the month, they earn their salary. So be it
Yay!
7K or 10K, I put it in the envelope, this is your salary. And guess what? These girls, the day you say the day they'll tell you they want pizza, tell them, you just earn 15K, collect it from there. They say, no, they're not taking it from that one. Mommy, buy the pizza from your own money. So they don't want to touch their money because they feel like they worked for it. This thing
They
I did
worked for it.
hours. Actually, they want to keep it. So just putting all that bits a little bit, even if it's like doing it through fun, they're learning
Yeah.
something. They're picking something.
All right, so thank you so much, Bola. We've even exhausted our time, like joke, as if we're not even talking. We've exhausted our time, so we've not even had time to look at the parents who doesn't even understand that it's not his child that needs to carry his legacy. So let's just use
So
that as your last word to parents. I mean, if you are that parent that hasn't come to the realization that it's not by force, you don't have to tie a leash or whatever around your child's neck and drag him, because sometimes it's because some parents compel their children and they hound them with this legacy.
the child
That's
just
the reason why the child would even disconnect from it. So
yeah.
right from when it's not as if you're saying, come to the factory with me and earn some money if you like and all of that. It's like, we're going to shop tomorrow. 5 o'clock, make sure you're out. Look at you. This person's child. Look at you. This person's child is helping their mother. You don't know anything. The only thing you know is to eat food and everything. Where do you think the money is coming from? So sometimes we do all of this and then we make it if there's anything like unenticing. You
Yes.
don't make it
Yeah.
enticing for the
It's not
child, and there's
attractive at
nothing
all for the child.
not attractive. So the child doesn't see any reason to come. There's nothing to learn here. There's nothing for me, and all of that. So, what do you say as your last word to this group of parents?
So what I would say, first of all, before you leave your business or your legacy for somebody else to carry on, in case your child is not interested. But first of all, what are the qualities of the child you have? I have a child who loves fashion, who loves to trade. I have a child who just loves to sit on a computer. She's IT savvy, right? So what are the qualities of the child? What are the capacity of what's the capacity that the child has? Your child might not be able to manage a business, or it can be the accountant, or it can be someone who is able to provide solution or think through ideas, and just maybe it might just be that bank of ideas that the family has. That child that just has so much, ideas, and he just drops it there, and he doesn't want to be in the running of anything. So it's for you to find a structure that works for that kind of child. Now, if you're going to now have to hand over your business to maybe a staff or someone who kind of has a stake, who has been with you for long and has a stake, still structure it in such a way that everybody knows that this thing still belongs to your child, and your
Yeah.
child knows what is entitled to him. And that person who has a stake, who is a staff and running the legacy, has a contract he has signed. This name is going to go on for so this. This is what I give back to the family. So there must be, so it's like more or less like having a structure
Structure.
that works. A structure such if the child decides I want to stop in now I want to come in, the child will not feel like a pull out. They won't feel like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
So that way you've protected the legacy, and at the same time you've also protected your child in the real sense of it. So that will be my advice to him.
All right. So thank you so much, Mrs. Bola. I've had fun, really. We've had fun. We've learned so much. We've heard
Thank you.
stories laced with wisdom and knowledge. Thank you so much. I'm sure the parents who are here and those who will catch this replay will have one or two things to take away from here. So our next session
Thank
is at
you.
7. We're already 3 minutes late. So thank you very,
Wow.
very much. So
Thank
thank
you.
you
Well
very,
done. Well
very
done on
much.
what you're doing. Well done.
All right then. I'll send you a link
Thanks
on
for having me
YouTube
again.
in case. All right then. I'll send you a
No
link on
problem.
YouTube in case you want to check it out. All right. Thank you
Okay
so
then,
much,
no
Bola.
problem.
Thank you for making
Thank
time
you.
to be here.
Take
All
care.
right then.
Okay then,
Bye.
bye.
All right, parents. So that is it. There's always, as I always say, at the end of these sessions, or at the end of the day, there's always a lesson to take from everything, every session, every webinar, every conversation, and all of that. Pick your lesson. Go and add it to your toolbox and run with it. If you come to a conference like this and at the end of the day it's just gist, talk, you don't take anything away, then we would say it is not time well spent. So take what you have and then run with it. All right, our very last session of this conference is holding in the next 2 minutes. So we're going to go out of the studio and get into another studio. Don't run away, just hang in here and let's do this to the end. Thank you very much for everyone who stopped to watch. I see Jama. Thank you, Jama, for stopping by. The other people, you didn't allow StreamYard to show your name, so I can't see you. So thank you very, very much. See you in a bit. All right then.